Hey, this is Weird Al Yankovic, and you're watching the Isaac Munger Show. You are! You really are!
Hello everybody, it's Mr. JukeBox 8.
Nintendo just had their E3 presentation, and they had a lot of stuff about the new Super Smash Bros., and everyone is super excited about it. But today I'm not going to talk about that.
But what if I told you that Super Smash Bros. Was not Nintendo's first attempt at a fighting game? That title goes to Urban Champion, originally released on the Japanese Famicom in 1984, and later to the NES in 1986. It was one of the original black box games for the NES, putting it in the same category as such timeless classics like Donkey Kong, Super Mario Bros., Duck Hunt, and Clu Land. Okay, so maybe not all of them ended up being timeless classics, but I think this is really cool. A fighting game on the NES. There aren't many of those, and nobody ever talks about the ones that do exist. Probably because most of them aren't very good. This was long before Street Fighter II basically reinvented the genre in 1991 into what we now think of as a fighting game. This was in a much simpler time when all we needed was 2 buttons and 2 characters that look exactly alike except for their colors. Okay, well, later fighting games still have those every once in a while, but at least there's options now. These characters are Mike and Mark, but who cares? The plot is completely non-existent, just these 2 guys punching each other in the street. The goal is to win 3 rounds by knocking the other guy off the side of the screen 3 times, where they will eventually end up falling down a manhole into what I can only assume is the sewer, where he will probably end up fighting the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. To do this, you can either use a heavy punch, which knocks him back really far but has a slow wind-up time, or a light punch, which is quick but doesn't do as much damage. But your opponent's fists aren't the only thing to worry about. You also need to dodge this guy that keeps dropping flower pots out the window, which can stun you if you get hit by it. Why does he have so many flower pots? Is he some kind of flower pot collector or something? Why does he keep dropping them out the window? That seems like a waste of money. Also, the cops randomly show up sometimes, which forces both players back to their starting positions. To my knowledge, there is no way to tell when it happens, and it's just a little bit annoying. Oh, and if the time runs out before someone gets knocked out, the police arrest whoever was closest to losing. And then they are just right back in the next round like nothing happened. Mr. Mike, you are under arrest for instigating an illegal street fight. You are hereby sentenced to 5 seconds in this police car. This game does not seem to have an ending, at least not that I've found. It's just another game where you try to get the high score. It's pretty simple, but a lot of games back then were. It's not a bad first attempt for Nintendo's first fighting game. In fact, maybe Mike and Mark wouldn't be too out of place in the lineup for Nintendo's more popular fighting game? Something to think about. I'm Mr. JukeBox 8, and thank you for a wonderful time!